Let's be honest, the last generation Kia Niro wasn't too pretty. It was a little boring, a little bland, and a very safe play if you wanted a somewhat affordable hybrid or full EV small crossover. But now I have this. This is the base model Kia Niro, so that makes this a base model review. And I want to see what Kia's been cooking up in this really dramatic refresh, both on the inside, the outside, and of course, taking it for a drive. Let's get into it. Now, the Kia Niro starts off its pricing at around $48,000 drive away, which puts it in direct competition with something like the Toyota CHR Hybrid, but this is just slightly more expensive. I'm a big fan of the sculpted bonnet, and it looks fantastic, visually interesting, a nice flat front end, obviously our new Kia grille, some nice silver accenting, but of course these lights, they look very unique. But we do have halogen headlamps, which are just a little bit disappointing for something that costs this much. Around the side, we have 16-inch alloy wheels, which are probably one of the smallest wheels I've tested. Now along the side, I do like this little light design here in the side mirror. Now this C-pillar, very interesting. I don't think I get this in the black because this C-pillar can be had in a contrasting color, which means you can show off this rear aero blade. Yeah, it's an aero piece because it is hollow. Air passes through this piece here and comes out the back for helping with aerodynamics and efficiency. Also, you see we have no rear lights here. Instead, they're integrated into that C-pillar, which looks very cool. But overall, this new exterior is so much better than the old one. So of course, in true base model fashion, you are gonna have a manual tailgate. And then in here, we have just over 400 liters of boot space. So it is very practical for a small SUV like this. Now below the boot floor, we do have everything you need to change a spare tire and a spare tire. And if you wanna fold the seats down, a 60-40 split, you get just over 1,400 liters of cargo space. Now this was quite interesting. This, I thought was an inbuilt sun visor. I was like, oh cool, they're going the Skoda route and including weird quirky things. But no, this isn't just a sun visor. You could definitely use it as one. It is actually a little fold-out cargo cover. Now door feel is pretty nice, and also I will say the build quality of the Niro is good as well. You can push on things, press on things, flex things, and look, it all is really good. There's no cracks, squeaks, or any rattles. What an upgrade. This is just so much more visually interesting than the previous Niro. It looks fantastic. Now the seats I'm sitting in are very reminiscent of the ones we sat in the Kia EV6, and they do have that weird headrest design. It looks like someone's tickling the back of their neck, so they're going like, hey, like that. We have two screens, but these are very obviously the base model screens because there's massive bezels around them, even though they still wrap around you as the driver. Now we have a small screen here as well, which is just, yeah, it's a little lackluster, but at least it's very usable. You have wireless Apple CarPlay and you have everything you need about your hybrid menus and your navigation inbuilt as well, phone controls, media controls, but my big water bottle doesn't really fit in them. Big water bottle won't fit in the door bins here. You have very small door bins, which I found very surprising. Now in the base model, you're also getting this ugly looking shifter. It's not actually ugly, but it's just something that's thrown in the base model, where if you got the GT line, you get the rotary shifter. What I really don't like is this steering wheel. It is gross. It is more affordable steering wheel option in here, and yeah, it's gross to touch. I really don't like it all that much, and it really feels like I've spent less money. But what I do like is that Kia have kept the touch controls for the climate navigation. Now there's plenty of blank buttons around here as well. All you're getting really is your parking cameras, parking sensors, and auto hold, and your electronic handbrake. And finally, jumping in the back seats, the entry is actually pretty decent, and thanks to there not being a giant battery underneath me, I have a decent amount of legroom as well. Plenty of feet room under the seat in front of me. I have plenty of headroom in the back. I have plenty of light. So this is the big advantage over something like the Toyota CHR. You have a little armrest here with cup holders. You have your rear air vents, and you also have two USB ports for the rear passengers attached to the seats. Okay, so starting up the Kia Niro, this is how quiet it starts up. How good's that? Now under the bonnet, we have a 1.6 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol motor. That's producing 77 kilowatts, which is around 104 horsepower and 144 newton-meters of torque. On paper, doesn't sound like a lot. But now we throw in an electric motor, which is producing 32 kilowatts, which is around 43 additional horsepower and 170 newton-meters of additional torque, which means combined power is 104 kilowatts, which is 141 horsepower and 265 newton-meters of torque. It is a very eerily quiet car, and I do like the quiet driving experience. But as soon as you dig your foot deeper into that pedal, that motor comes on, and it's actually not too harsh when it does jump on, but you can hear it. It is being annoying as a sound in the background. As you go through corners, you are getting very vague steering feel, but what I feel like is that this feels like a lifted hatchback more than an SUV. First and foremost, it is a city car, so those smaller wheels just will pick up bumps in the road and just won't be as comfortable to cruise around on something that does have a bigger wheel and tire setup. Now, as for acceleration, in eco mode, we actually have respectable acceleration. Like, It does pick up nice. We do have enough power here to sort of get going, but it's not really overwhelming. So we do have drive mode, so we have eco and sport. So if I jump into sport now, yes, it sort of picks up pace, and I do like how quickly it comes off the throttle as well. It doesn't carry through. And then through tight corners, you can sort of sense a feeling of understeer as you sort of carve up those corners a little bit. Now, my fuel efficiency has been really good on the highway, around 4 liters per 100 Ks, but then around the city, it's been around 7 liters. So yeah, it depends how much throttle you're putting down. But yeah, around 4 liters, I'm very impressed with that. And it's gonna be good for long trips as well. And then in addition, this does have Kia's lane keep assist and active steering assist as well. And obviously radar cruise control, which just feels very nice to have on a car even as a base model. Now braking, this sort of has like a rudimentary form of like regenerative braking, so it does charge when you lift off the throttle, which is very useful to keep that battery topped up. So you're wondering if you should go out and put your name down and buy one of these. Well, I'd say hold your horses for the base model here. I think it's a great option to cross shop against strong rivals like the Toyota CHR Hybrid and even maybe the Toyota Yaris Cross Hybrid. But I think this is something that just needs a little bit more features to make it feel a lot better to buy, especially when you're spending more money than the competition. I'll see you in the next one.